Now, to another example of America First policies from the Trump administration. This one has some Democrat support, which is good to see. Senators Josh Hawley and Peter Welch are producing legislation to force drug companies not to charge high prices in the US than the international average. This war against big pharma, it's extending well beyond RFK Jr., Josh.
Yeah, this has rapidly become a very aggressive part, I think, of the new Republican Party's platform. But as you mentioned, this is a bipartisan piece of legislation. Senator Hawley and Senator Welch, who's a pretty liberal senator from the state of Vermont. Josh Hawley, who personally is one of my absolute favorite senators, I'm a big fan of his. He has very much been the tip of the spear of a lot more, actually, of these more, shall we say, populist inclined economic styles of bill legislation. He's had previous legislation when it comes to trying to cap credit card fees, a lot of stuff that your typical kind of 1980s nostalgia Republican wouldn't necessarily dream of there. But this is a new breed of Republican. I mean, the entire Donald Trump MAGA MAHA coalition there. Yeah, it's partially about taking on big pharma for sure, and big pharma, I think, has a lot of bipartisan enemies across the entire spectrum these days in Washington, D.C. But it's also just partially about this kind of more economically nationalist, more populist style of economic statecraft as well. The tariff policy certainly fits into that as well there. Again, these are the kind of things that the Republican Party, prior to Donald Trump's descent down the gilded escalator at Trump Tower in 2015, never in a million years would have dreamed of. I mean, thinking back to like the 2012 Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan platform, the notion of punitive tariffs on other countries, the notion of trying to cap prescription drug prices. I mean, it would have been a totally foreign exercise there, but this is a very, very different Republican Party in the year 2025.
Very different. The neocons are gone. It's a new GOP. It certainly is. But before you go, I just want to quickly ask you about French President Emmanuel Macron. He hosted the Syrian leader Ahmed al-Shara, and earlier today he called on the US and the European Union to lift sanctions against Syria. Josh, this character, al-Shara, he's an Islamist. He's a former member of al-Qaeda. He's got supporters right now targeting religious minorities in Syria. Should he be treated like some dignitary here?
This is disgusting. I mean, this is just utterly appalling. And unfortunately, Emmanuel Macron is not the only person who is treating this al-Qaeda jihadi in a suit as some sort of legitimate leader. I mean, you actually had multiple U.S. congressmen who became the first to fly to Damascus to meet with this Islamist thug about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago or so. So this is rapidly becoming a normalized situation that simply should not be normalized, because among the other things, what you alluded to is totally correct. There have been recent massacres. The media is really not reporting this at all. There have been recent massacres of the Syrian Druze population. It's horrific stuff there, because the current government in Damascus is an Islamist government there. This guy puts on a suit. He talks like he's a Harvard DEI professor, talking about the beauty of diversity there when it comes to different types of Sunni, Shia, Druze, Christians, so forth there. He is not a Westerner. This guy's an Islamist. He was literally a peripatetic al-Qaeda jihadi, going from country to country throughout the Middle East, fighting for various offshoots of al-Qaeda, from the original one to al-Nusra to HRT. And now Emmanuel Macron is talking about why. I literally don't get it there. The only thing I can think of is that Macron and France, they have a very unique relationship with Lebanon, of course, there. And Syria, the current government there is very cozy with Hezbollah, which still has a major presence in Lebanon there. So maybe that's what's going on here, but it's really quite appalling and, dare I say, even outright disgusting.
Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time tonight.